I think.
No, you can have a little squirt of CBD or
Oh, we got some of it.
That's what I use, bro.
Oh, is it? Okay. Okay.
So I live my
Never go.
That's why I'm nice and chilled. Under your tongue, spray it a couple of times, yeah.
Yeah. Let's go.
Alright, so we're now live on Instagram. We're here with Gavin Kirkham. We're going to be talking, having about an hour and a bit's worth of conversation around mental health and addiction. But welcome back to the Rise Above podcast, the show where we dive deep into stories. I'm going to have to cut that bit out.
Yeah, go on.
Cut that out.
Start again.
Welcome back to the Rise Above podcast, the show where we dive deep into the stories and struggles and triumphs to remind us all, no matter what life throws our way, we have the power to rise above it. We're your hosts, Adrian and Shane, and today's episode's a powerful one. We're talking about mental health, not just the buzzwords or the hashtags, but the real raw human experience behind it. Our guest today is somebody that some of you might know, some of you might not, but welcome, Gav Kirkham.
Hi.
Welcome,
Hi, guys. Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah, no, it's all good, man. It's all good.
We are really interested in addiction, mental health, blah, 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 and that is exactly why we both set this up, because Adrian is an alcoholic in recovery, been in recovery quite a while. I'm obviously an ex-drug addict and ex-rough sleeper, suffer mental health. We both have struggles there. So this helps us doing this. So you're not alone.
We're all here to help each other in it, man. We're all here,
This is exactly what I'm trying to say. Today's questions, we've had this life ourselves, similar, we can feel your pain. And I know some of what we're going to go through is going to upset you as well. So
hopefully it helps other people, man.
Hopefully it does. Hopefully it does.
And you.
Yeah, hopefully. We're all here to benefit anyone, you know?
Yeah, hopefully when you get home later on, you'll be like, do you know what? I feel okay for
uplifted, you know? And hopefully other people relate. And,
exactly
that. Yeah.
It's good for some people that only see you as you walk around and have this pretense of you and judge you.
The big smile on my face.
They might actually understand what Gavin's about, really.
I hope they do, because I don't.
The fella that stands in the pub. Do you know what I mean? There's more to you. There's more layers, man.
There's more to everyone, isn't it?
Exactly, and that's what we're trying to achieve as well.
Exactly.
You're not defined by the fact that you like a beer.
Yeah, no, of course not. No, of course.
So we're going to dive straight in.
Yeah, go on, Tom Daly. Let's do it, man.
Tom Daly.
Let's go.
We're going to go straight to 2-year-old Gav. Obviously, some of this information you've given me yourself. Well, all of it you've given me yourself. So you're prepared for these questions coming at you.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, your mum left you and your dad at 2 years old.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel?
So at the age of 2, you know, I didn't really know too much of what was going on, you know. But then growing up, my stepmom come into my life when I was 5. But growing up, you know, like not having the woman who gave birth to you having nothing to do with you, it kind of affects you, you know. And I wanted answers, and I wanted a reason. But my dad, he was a very strong person, and I felt, was it his fault or is it her fault? But then I got brought up by my stepmom from the age of 5. Then I feel like, am I allowed to ask questions because I might upset her, you know? But then the only person who's hurting is me. I don't want to sound selfish, you know, but I've got a loving stepmom, you know, who's showing me the ways of life, you know, teaching me how to cook, teaching me, hugging me when I'm right. You know, slapping my bum when I'm wrong, you know. So who am I to then want to go and get answers for someone who's deserted me, you know? So it was never easy growing up. I don't want to sound like a victim, but, you know, it's not like I had a bad upbringing. My dad loved me, you know, my stepmom loved me, but there was always that undergoing thing in the back of your head. What have I done wrong, you know? Why don't she love me? Why don't she want me, you know? You know, so for me, yeah.
I can get, so obviously, I don't know if you know, but I don't know my real dad.
Okay.
My real dad, my mum was 16 and he was married and 25 and whatever. He literally just left us. And I've got a stepdad, my sister's dad. And I can relate to exactly how you're feeling. You feel like you're disrespecting them.
Yeah.
Even to this day, I could go and find who my real dad is, but how would that make my
Yeah,
my
you know,
dad,
the people that love you and show you the
guy
right
that's
from wrong,
visited me, the guy that's done everything that you know.
Yeah, it was hard, you know, but obviously I'm going to bypass a few years. I remember my 16th birthday, my dad bought me a RS 50 Aprilia, and he said, like, your real mum's got to buy you the stuff, you know, the crash helmet and everything. So I went and had dinner with her, and all she done was spent all her time talking about a car out on the driveway and how I'd never get insured on that and this, that and the other. And I was thinking, I just want answers, you know. And I was 16 years old. A couple of years later, I was thinking, you know, like, I'm 19 now. I've got her number, and I messaged her and said to her, like, can we meet up next week, you know, and have a chat? She was like, yeah. I remember going to Strawberry Fair that weekend, and I come back and I bumped into a couple of people that were kind of related, so I ain't going to go into names, and they said, your mum's dead, and I was like, what? So I rang my dad, thinking he's on about my stepmum, and he's on about my real mum. So like in that week where I built up the courage to get answers, you know, she's dead a week later. So you know, it kind of affects you in a way now. When you're ready for answers, it drags you into relationships, you know. You know, when you kind of get with a woman and you get rejection.
Well, it's abandonment, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's the feeling of abandonment.
Yeah.
Although you was only 2, 3, 4, you know, it does. We're massive on this. Your childhood is where everything we feel stems from. It's where all your emotions, where you learn everything, how you feel.
The way I look at when you're a child, you're like a sponge. Yeah, you absorb all your information. That's where you learn everything. You know. So as like if you're scared of heights, you know, if you tackle them when you're 5 or 6. You'll do it. Yeah. When you try and do it when you're 40, you get too scared because you got your hackles to turn up and you can't do it anymore. You know. So.
Gav, I'm really interested in hearing about those years from when your mum left until you're 15, 16. So, how was primary school?
Primary school was okay. You know, I went from primary school to primary school because obviously I was in between my mum and leaving and my stepmum coming in, I had childminders, you know, so I was at different schools. And obviously when I had stability with my stepmum, I was at a different school now. So then I've got to come in halfway through, you know, and people, what are you doing here, you know? And you know, like, and even at junior school. But then I went to secondary school, I fitted in quite well, I was good at football. But there's still, you know, I used to go to football at the age of 8. And I remember looking up and seeing all my dad's mates taking me to football, and they're drinking, and I'd be in the pub, 8 years old, eating, you know, the Brannigan's beef and mustard crisps, you know. Yeah, you remember them? Yeah, the paper ones. And I'd be there drinking, you know, like half a shandy or whatever, and watching how everyone's attitude had changed. And see...
What, the more they've drunk?
Yeah, and seeing everyone having a laugh and a giggle, and I'd be like, that's how I want to be, you know. Like that's.
So you idolised the men in the pub, around the football, around the beers.
Yeah, of course. 100%.
Game of darts, game of pool. That was your lifestyle.
And
that
obviously,
was.
I looked at it and I thought, I don't want to be at school. I want to be drinking, and I want to be working, and I want to be out with the boys. But you know what? That was the positive side of alcohol. Yeah, that's the positive side of addiction.
The social side of it.
Yeah, but no one teaches you the negatives,
which will
waking up in bushes and stuff, you know,
which we'll definitely come to. But 8-year-old you wasn't doing that. So.
No. Yeah, no. I got a little bit excited there. Yeah, 10. Come on, get it right. Come on.
So primary school age at 8, you're in the pub, you're in the boozers, we like to say, with your dad and his mates, and watching the football and watching them
Chelsea and stuff, you know.
Watching them enjoy themselves, because us men, we like a a drink in the pub, and we like to be with our mates.
Coming to Chapman's, you know, the 10p disco, you know,
Oh,
you know,
mate.
remember, and then we'd all be out there playing
Mojo
football
Sweets.
and all that,
Yeah,
and the gatehouse would be open, and you know, we'd be there in the community centre and stuff, you know, and your parents would be there, and you'd be in the disco and playing football against the shutters, the ball go up on the roof, you have to go up and get it.
The white chalk goal.
Yeah, you know that, innit? Yeah, so yeah, that was kind of growing up.
Do you think that was a side of? We talk about rejection as such, but do you think that environment was an acceptance where you felt not rejected, where you felt comfortable?
I felt like I fitted in, maybe, you know, because all our parents were in the pub drinking, and we're next door, and we're all kids, you know. Like, so now I feel like we're all the same, you know. Yeah, you're my brother. You know, like we go on holiday together and stuff, you know. So yeah. So then, obviously, I felt kind of accepted as such. Yeah.
So as you progressed through primary school, you then got into secondary school.
Yeah,
I'm assuming you went to secondary school.
Secondary school. Yeah.
What school did you go to?
I went to Norton. Yeah, I was in Norton.
Norton. We spoke about that on another podcast.
Yeah, I was in Norton. Yeah, so yeah, the age of what? I think as I was going from Pixmoor to Norton, I think that's the first time I tried weed in the summer holidays, you know.
What, 11, 12 years old?
Yeah, 11, yeah. But I ain't even hit year 7.
Was that the same football group?
No. It was a good friend of mine that, but we couldn't roll, so we had to do it on a cambong, you know. Yeah, a little bit hashish and that, you know. And that's when I first tried, you know, weed and stuff, you know. So from a young age, I'm impressionable, you know, and I think a lot of it is to fill the void and escape reality sometimes, you know. And
even as a child, you thought that?
Yeah, even try and fit in, you know.
Yeah.
And so obviously growing up, smoking weed and getting into trouble and, you know, causing arguments because obviously my sisters are born then, and see, we've got different mums, so obviously just kind of like a difference, you know. I'm being a little shit as a teenager, and they're toddlers growing up, you know, and I felt like I was causing arguments between my mum and my dad, and I'm feeling now that I'm the black sheep again, or I'm not wanted again, you know, because I'm the horrible one, you know. My real mum don't want me, and then I'm causing trouble between my stepmom and my dad. So is it me? Am I the problem? You know, that's how I was feeling. You know.
It's sad, isn't it, to be that young and feel that way?
Yeah, it is.
That is so sad. I mean, we speak to men all the time about them feeling that now.
Yeah.
But 11, 12 years old.
Yeah, and that's how I was
so
feeling.
sad.
You know, that's how I was feeling. But you know, I can't blame everything on that because there's some people out there that they get adopted or whatever, and they turn their lives around, and you know they don't go through this stuff. You know, so that I'm partly to blame with this stuff as well. You know, that it's not all on that. But that's how I felt inside, you know, that's how I was feeling. And then probably I'd lash out a little bit more, I don't know, you know.
So we'll get it. We're all a master of our own actions.
Yeah, 100%,
we do promote that we have to own it as well.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
You know, this isn't about blaming, it's about understanding and accepting.
Yeah, of course,
but you do still have the trauma of the feeling of rejection,
100%,
and that has to be taken into account.
Yeah, no, it's still in here to every day, you know, like today I'll come here today and I was anxious as fuck, you know. Now I'm one of the most confident people in the world. I've had to have a couple of beers just to come on here, you know. I'm actively in addiction, you know. Would I be able to do this without 2 or 3 beers? I don't think I would be able to, you know.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, straight up, you know, but it's addiction's there, innit, you know, and mental health's there, you know.
So at 11 you were addicted to the pub atmosphere, the foot, because that's an addiction in itself.
Yeah.
People need to understand that it doesn't have to be a material thing that you're swallowing or drinking.
It's acceptance, you know. You feel like you feel part now of a family, you know. You feel part of a crowd, you know.
So you felt like this at 11 years old. You started smoking at 8, then you started smoking cannabis and resin and stuff like that. So 12, 13... Had you started drinking the actual beer?
I'd been drinking enough, but not like regularly. You know, like if there's you go on holiday with your families and your parents get drunk.
Yeah,
you're allowed
a
a beer in there. You're allowed a little bit, or a New Year's Eve party.
Yeah, we've all been there,
or the weddings, you know, and you go and get them little. You remember them little bottles that you get from France? You snick a couple of them, go up to the room and drink them.
Or moonlight, as I used to do.
You know,
Go behind them and take a drink.
We've all been there. Do you know what I mean? We've all been there, but you know, some people can have a couple.
Do you not think that we, for older guys like us, our environment was it was accepted to be allowed to do that with your parents? You'd go down the com club, you'd go down a gatehouse, packet of crisps, a little shandy, or a little. So we grew up in that environment where that was okay. I don't think that environment exists anymore. It's different now, man. Do you know what I mean? Because I wouldn't take my boy when he was that age and give him, you know, I'm only just buying him a beer now. He's 18.
And back then, the places were full of smoke as well, weren't they? Because you used to smoke in them.
You were sitting there trying to eat your food and it was fucking smoking a cigarette or whatever.
So it's almost like an accepted culture that you grow into.
It's like, you know, it's acceptable, you know, that's normal, you know, like there's no one, you ain't gonna let your kid have a beer on a party, come on. And then they have a few more beers and then they'll go on, have another one, you know.
100%.
So that's
so it is so much easier from an older generation to be able to just ease into that
100%,
that
100%.
environment of drink.
100%,
So you're at Norton now, and you're having the occasional drink and you're smoking the pot and stuff like that. But really, that's just normal kid stuff that you get up to, right?
I remember sitting there smoking weed and saying to my pals at like the age of 15 as I'm leaving school, like, I don't really want to smoke weed. I want to be in the pub drinking. I want to be out working. I want to earn money, you know. I want to be out having a good laugh and a good time, you know. So
is that when you developed an interest in drug dealing?
As I was leaving school, like, I was literally doing my exams and, I started selling weed and I was earning some good money and, then, you know, I was walking around with the full sovereign ring, the half sovereign ring, you know, the 4-row keeper, the bracelet, and going to America at 16 years old, coming back with loads of clothes, and I was walking around thinking I was the bollocks, you know, and then I started getting into the selling of the cocaine and stuff, you know, and I'm a young man, you know, I'm not even a man, I'm a kid still, I'm a teenager, but I'm working, I've left school, I've got a job, and I'm earning, and then I had my little RS50 Aprilia, so I used to ride around on that, sell my drugs after work, and you know, like, I think the lifestyle that I wanted from the age of 8 has happened now when I'm 16. So now I feel that I've fulfilled my dream. And no one taught me that that's not the dream. That's not the right dream. It's not the dream, man. I had a job.
What was you doing?
I was doing floor fitting, laminate and wood flooring. Had the same job for 16 years, you know, and I was really good at my job and stuff, and but it was the other lifestyle that was there for me, you know.
It becomes a bit more important all the time,
you know, it does, you know.
When can I get home and or people start ringing you up, when are you getting home? You know, come on, I need weighing in. When are you getting home?
You know.
I'll take half a day.
I ain't gonna turn into that. I've got this to do and that to do, you know. So it's it kind of took over, but then it's to fulfil the lifestyle that I wanted from a young age, if that makes sense. You know?
Said back when you was 8 years old, you had admirations to do that,
you know, but then obviously the age of 16, you know, doing that up until 21, 22, everything was nice, it was good, you know, I had, it was all right, you know, and then, you know, sometimes it decreases and it goes downhill a little bit. No one teaches you, you know, when you're actively drinking every day, that you miss work, or you might wake up and you're in a bush, you know, or wake up and you've pissed yourself. Who knows what you've fucking done, you know? There's certain things, that alcoholism.
I've got, mate, I bought a brand new pair of £150 Nikes. That same night, I ended up going home with one. I still don't know to this day where it was.
You know.
My mum said to me, "Where is your trainer?"
I
was like, I don't know.
You know, and it happened, you know. And
you probably drunk a pint out of it and left it on the table.
But no one says as you're growing up and you're looking at all this this positivity of drinking and being around social people and having a laugh and a giggle. No one says about the negative side of it, you know, not paying your rent or missing bills or borrowing money and saying, oh, I can't pay you back today, brother, because you've spent it on another fucking 8 cans of beer or something. No one says that, you know. I never got taught that, you know, and that's the side of what I want to talk about, that kind of it ain't good, you know. It's horrible, you know. That's where
that self-loathing, effectively, for want of a better word, is when you then start just getting into the cycle, and then you carry on drinking because you don't like yourself too much and you want to escape
and then do you know what, you'd be like, oh shit, I haven't gone to work today, so I'll tell you what I'll do. Before I go to work, I'll have 4 beers. Then I've got the confidence to face the boss. And then, but I'll brush my teeth quick. Bowling, sorry I didn't turn in. I couldn't do that sober, you know? That's what happens, you know? And then before you know it, it's, you know, like the crazy dog that chases his tail. Yeah. Before you know it, you're acting like that, man. And it's not a good place to be in, you know? It's, like, I'd say it's embarrassing, but it's not, because it's how it is, you know. Like,
it's the norm.
You know, like I can drink every day, and then all of a sudden I say I'm not drinking, and then I won't drink for 2 months. I'll go in the pub and I'll drink lime and soda, but I always feel there's something missing. You know,
like a void.
There's a void. I need to fill that empty space in my stomach.
You're always going back to that 8-year-old.
Yeah, so then I think, I can't sleep properly, or and I think there's something, and then I think I'll have a beer.
That's withdrawal though, Gav, isn't it?
No, I wouldn't say it's withdrawal, because I can go 2 months without it.
Yeah, but withdrawal, it can come out your system. But Adrian, I know, but I've seen people I've worked with alcoholics, and when they're withdrawing on alcohol, it's a serious thing. Yeah. You know, it's not just a few little shakes, as people say, oh, it's just a little shake. You know, I've seen him full on seizure. And I've seen him really ill, like sick,
there's some people that are mentally dependent, and there's some people that are physically dependent. I wouldn't say I'm physically dependent. I can knock it in the head, and I don't shake. I don't do that. I carry on. I still go to work.
So yours is more mental.
Mine's here because I need to fill that void and escape reality. You know, sometimes I just want to. I think I can't sleep tonight. I'll have 2 beers. Boom. You know.
So you're more of a functioning alcoholic.
Yeah, I'm definitely a functioning alcoholic. I'll go to work every day, and you know, like I could walk into a room after 10 beers and you don't even know I've had a beer. You know, you know, like other people have 3 beers and all that. You know,
you've had a beer right now. I could tell you've had a beer.
Yeah, 100%.
I can tell you've had a beer.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I know you not had a beer, and I can see.
Yeah, no, 100%. I've had a beer. 100%. Yeah, 100%.
That's a good thing that you're talking about that right now, because you're doing this podcast because you've had a beer.
I would not be able to do this. And you wouldn't have done it. I would not be able to do it. I'll be hands up, straight up. Yeah, I've had a beer, 100%. I'm not going to hide it or deny it. I'm not going to go, oh yeah, I'm sober. I have had a couple of beers because I didn't have the confidence to come here and sit in front of a camera online and do this. You know,
Gav,
I'm actively in addiction. You know, and I'm actively mentally, you know, a little bit traumatised with things that's happened, you know, and so, but that's why I felt like I had to do this, you know.
This might sound like a strange question. I've never been addicted to drink. Okay. And in fact, I don't even like the drunk version of myself. Okay. Like, I think I'm an idiot. But in between drunk and not drunk, I'm all right. Yeah. But when I'm drunk, I'm a dick.
Are we not all searching for that?
Yeah. That's the personality.
I know when to stop. I know when to stop. So like, I know when I've had too much. But my point is that my confidence does grow after I've had 1 beer. Then I have another beer. My confidence will get more and more. Yeah. 100%. Whereas I'm quite a shy person, really. I'm not like a in-your-face kind of guy. Would you say alcohol gives you more confidence to be the person that you perceive to be better than the other one?
I'll be honest with you, without alcohol, I'm still very confident. I'm still a joker. I'll still take the piss out of people. I'm still the life and the soul of the party. I'll still get up and dance at a wedding. But the alcohol just gives it that next step. But obviously, you got to remember, from the age of 8, this is what's in my head. Yeah. So I think that I have to have it. You know, I have to. I need that to be the next level up. You know, if I'd have come here stone cold sober today and got talking to you guys, I'd have probably been all right. But I felt I needed a beer, man.
Yeah,
you know?
but that's it, and that's the thing.
I felt I needed it just because
you need to be able to have that
yeah,
environment,
you know,
and be that gaff that just open up a little bit.
Because obviously there's a lot of people that are going to listen to this that know me that don't know half the stuff, you know, don't know half the stuff about me. A lot of my friends and a lot of people that talk to me down the pub or work with me, they don't know half the stuff that and I haven't opened up properly yet.
And you do it. Like you were just talking, like even carpet fitters and stuff, they're men's men,
Yeah,
aren't they?
yeah.
They like a beer, they like a football chat, they like the banter.
That, you know, I'm scaffolding.
But now, that's what I was going to say. Now, you, for the last few years, you've been a scaffolder.
Yeah.
I would say that's even more of a man's job.
Yeah, no, of course, because obviously
that's got to be difficult because some of your scaffolding friends are going to watch this, and they're going to be like, "Oh, flip me, I didn't realise that about Gav."
It's fine though, isn't
but
it?
it's not something that. So my wife and her friends will go to the pub and have a Chardonnay and they'll talk and they'll gossip and they'll have a chit chat. But us men, we don't talk about our feelings.
We don't. We take the piss out of each other.
Exactly.
And that's
if I rung you up normally, just out of the blue, rung you up and said, "Brother, I'm just not feeling great. Do you want to?"
I'd come and meet you, 100%. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that perception
is frowned upon a little bit.
They'd be like, "Fuck off, mate."
Yeah.
What's up? Let's go for a beer.
Yeah.
That's my problem. I don't want to go to that.
I get that. Yeah, no, I get that.
Do you know what I mean? And that's how I felt when I was giving up. I sort of took myself away from a lot of my mates because I felt that I couldn't go and be in that environment.
Yeah.
And it's only the good mates that come to me and say, "No, bro, come man, let's go and have a coffee, or let's go and have some food, or whatever.
Go for a bite of the week. Yeah, that's the best. That's the best one. That's the best one.
And that's what we do.
Yeah, food's the remedy.
We feel like we're still Jackman's boys, but we feel like we're connoisseurs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Of the local Chinese.
You're the snob. That's it.
You know, we're selling USA chicken. But that's what I'm saying is, and that's the toughest part as well that I found to break away was. I felt that I was stopping other people. I was changing them. I was putting my opinions.
But listen, if you're tight with someone and you're friends with someone, then they should be able to adapt to what you're going through. You know,
and that's the message.
If they're a true friend, they'll stand by you through thick and thin.
You know,
whether you're an addict or not an addict, or whether you're drinking or not
regardless, you're always going to be an addict. Yeah. You're always going to be an addict.
I've still got addictive traits.
Listen, one beer and you're fucked. Yeah. So you're always going to be an addict. Yeah. Regardless of where it's like in remission at the moment. You know, that's the way I look at it.
Yeah. So I'd class myself as, like my work colleagues are telling me off for saying it, but I'm a recovering addict.
Okay.
Now my addictions ended many years ago, long time ago. But I'm still classing myself as a recovering addict. For the simple reason is that I wake up some mornings and I want to take them drugs again.
Yeah.
And it's only because I'm stronger and more willpower that I don't do that.
Or you've got more tools to be able to deal with that.
See, like, so obviously, you don't mind me skipping forward a little bit here, do you?
No, sure.
It's your podcast.
See, so like in 2014, I was selling a lot of cocaine. And I went sober for October. Yeah, I raised £500 for Macmillan Cancer because at the time my dad was dying of cancer. I got myself into a lot of trouble while being sober with someone. I don't really want to say too much about that. Yeah. And I ended up getting arrested, and I got caught with a load of cocaine. And in 2015. On the 3rd of June, my dad passed away. And then I got sentenced to 2.5 years in prison on the 8th of July. And while I was in prison, I'd done a course in the Mount called the RAPT course. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No.
It's called the Rehabilitation for Prisoners Trust. And it's like AA, so you do the 12 steps.
Right.
You know, and you sit in a room like this now, like we are talking. But everyone else is a prisoner, and you're in with, workers from the prison. I've done 4 months in that room. After 4 months, I've become a peer supporter. I learnt a lot, about addiction, trying to build amends with people that you've upset. Keep your side of the street clean. You know, there's two sides to the street, and if someone else doesn't accept that, then that's not your problem. Don't let that use that. You know, every day keep yourself clean. You know, today. You know, and
every day's a new day.
Yeah, you know, and I learnt a lot, and I've become a peer supporter, and I was helping people, you know, that couldn't read or write, and it made me feel good. You know, they come into my cell. Can you help me with my step work?
Yeah.
And I'm doing bullet points, you know, and then I'm sitting next to them, and they've got to read it out to the class, and I'm like, boom, boom, boom. We've got to do their food menu, and I'm doing that for them, you know. And when I was in jail, it made me feel good. I come out.
That give you a purpose, Gav, didn't it?
Yeah.
Whilst you're in prison, it give you a purpose.
Yeah, and then when I come out of prison, I went straight to the drink the first day. Boom.
What? So the very first day you
I
come
thought
out?
I can have a beer. I've done 15 months in jail. I can have one beer. I'll be all right. I've got the tools to be sober.
Yeah.
One beer. The next thing you know, I was boom. You know, I was acting like a dickhead, upsetting very close friends and family and stuff. You know, and within a weekend of getting out, I was a dickhead. You know. But then people stood by me because they love me and they understand the addiction that I've got. But still, to this day, I know that I've got them tools still, you know, they're still there.
So if you needed them?
Yeah, and I know, do you know, like they're there. You know, like sometimes I go and read my step work. I go back to the books and I read through, you know, who I've upset, who I've done, you know, consequences of what I've done and this and that. And it's not easy sometimes, you know, you sit there and cry sometimes and think you're alone, but you're not, you know, sometimes you've got good people around you.
I know, I've known you for a few years, and I know also that you've got a shit ton of friends.
Yeah.
Or people that they could be acquaintances for all I know. But I think you're very well liked in the local area.
Yeah,
I think other people, the other side of the street, as you say, might not like you.
Well, mostly it's family. The people
family.
that have known me since I was knee high. They're
the ones that, it's been tough for you yourself. Obviously, as family, it's so tough. As I found out, you know, my sister and my stepdad and my dad, however you want to say, and my family, my children, watching the people you care and love about self-destruct,
self-sabotage.
You know, and it's hard for them because they think that you don't love them enough. I mean, my eldest two, who obviously my youngest two have not seen me drink, but my eldest two, especially my daughter, I know to this day that she feels that I didn't love her and I don't love her, and I'm always fighting with her for that. Not fighting as in emotionally, but just fighting to help her understand that me then, I still loved her. She was my pride and joy. She was my firstborn. But I didn't, when I had a drink, I wasn't going, I don't like my daughter. It was, I don't like me. You know, it's not, I don't like you, it's I don't like me. And I don't like me, so I'm going to drink.
You know, do you know what it is? With addiction, you're a selfish person,
100%.
And then do you know what? To get clean, you have to be selfish. You know? It's a catch-22. You know, it's like if you drink loads of drink and then you wake up with a hangover, you need a drink to get rid of the hangover. So it's a catch-22.
You don't want to feel like shit.
Yeah, so you have a beer, and it's the only thing to get rid of a hangover is to have another drink. It's mental.
Hair of the dog, as they say.
Yeah, as they call it. So
I wonder where that phrase come from.
Oh, fucking
Hair of the
I
dog.
don't know, man.
If anyone knows, anyone knows where
let us know, man. Come on. But it's a catch-22 all the time.
Before we get into the next bit, I'm just going to see who's watching and see if I can. I don't think there's any comments. So people are just watching quietly.
Comment if
Angus,
you want,
good
man.
to see you. Luke, Stephen Appleyard, good to see you. Rosie, good to see you. Angie, my wife, lovely, good to see you. Louisa May, good to see you. Edward Colson, good to see you.
Big up, Ed, man.
There is some comments. 88 DPM, proud of you.
Danny.
Proud
Danny.
of you, Gav.
Love you, babe.
Michael Fortune, hello. Mickey Vort, hello. Marianne, hey from sunny Mallorca.
From Spain, my missus.
Come on, man.
Grace and the Interiors, hello. Aidan,
Yeah, we've got a lot of watchers,
Becca,
man.
hello. Ollie, hello.
Was that Aidan Beckles as well?
Yeah. Aidan, Mini,
Oh, but it's Aidan Beckles.
Spartan guy.
Oh, yeah, big up Aidan.
Jack Farmer, hello. And my daughter's on as well.
Yeah.
Hi, guys. Thank you ever so much. Sorry we're not involved in the chat room, but we're just going to carry on with Gav. Gav, I wanted to ask you something because we've heard a little bit about your life up till now. You've got a daughter.
Yeah.
She's of age that is TikTok mad and Snapchat mad and this and that and viral this and viral that.
Yeah.
She's probably going to come across this podcast or clips of it. How did you think about her and her reaction before you said you wanted to come on?
Of course I did. That's why I contacted her mum and said, would you think it'd affect her? But she knows most of the stuff. She knows stuff. She's not stupid.
No,
she's very wise. She's a very intelligent girl. I love her, man. I love her.
You've got a great relationship with her now, haven't you? I see photos up on your social media.
Listen, there's been times when I've chose alcohol or drugs and the sesh above her. I wouldn't say above her, but
that's the point.
I wouldn't say above her, but I thought, I can have 2 beers and then I'll go and see her, and then before you know it, a couple more. I'll be another hour. No, and then before you know it, you fucked up. And then you're battling, and then before you know it, you're battling yourself, but then you're battling everyone around her, and then you feel like you've let her down. And then before you know it, you just let yourself down even more.
You feel like you're what everyone thinks you are.
You were set up for this to happen, Gav. Well done, And then you just, you self-sabotage, and you just, instead of trying to make it better, you fuck it up even more. But just the one person in my life, that she's the best thing I've ever done. I've conquered some stuff in my life, but I've never produced or done anything quite like my daughter, she might see this podcast.
How did you...
She'll enjoy what you've just said there.
I believe and I hope so, Her mum, can't fault her, and the mum's partner, they're wicked, and we get on really well. And
I know them personally, and they're a lovely couple.
She's got a very good home, and I'm very grateful for that, and I'm very grateful for everything they provide. I provide what I can provide for her,
You have daddy and daughter dates, don't you? You go on daddy and daughter dates.
Yeah, of course we do. Yeah, of course we do. But
do you find that that's evolved more now, that you actually stick to them? Is that something you personally like? Nah.
Of course. But obviously, back in the day, I've been in relationships and I've done things. I've messed up. I've messed up like any man. Like any person. I'm a human being, we all make mistakes, regardless of drink or regardless of drugs or regardless of selling or whatever. But I feel that, we're in a good relationship, I do worry that she might see this and it might affect her doing her exams and stuff, That's what goes through my head now,
I actually think she'll be proud of you.
I'd like to think so.
Do you know, I know your daughter, obviously, and I know that she's a very, very mature young lady.
She's got her head screwed on, Well, more so than me, anyway.
Well, from what I can see, she's quite a mature young lady, and that she's going to know the bigger picture, and she's not going to pick out snippets of this podcast. She's going to understand you a bit better.
She gets it from her mother, man. She gets her sensibility from me.
I didn't say it was from you.
No, she gets her sensibility. She gets her sensibility from her mother, and she gets a little bit of funniness from me.
But I just wanted to ask before you got into that. But how did you react when you found out that you was going to have a child? Back nearly 16 years ago. I
was scared, man. I was probably more scared than coming on here. But I was happy as well, I didn't really know how to...
You don't, you first, do you? You don't know how to react.
It was like, is this going on? Is this real? Is this going to happen? Like, am I ready? You know, because at the time, I was drinking cider a lot, you know.
That's the strong stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, and I was drinking it a lot, and obviously me and my mum, I thought I'd join the gym, and I'd go to the gym, but before I went to the gym, I'd have 2 cans of cider up after work. Afterwards, I go meet her 2 cans. But I've been to the gym, I take pictures, you know, you know, hide and be sneaky, but, you know, it's,
Women, mate, they know.
Yeah, 100%. Listen,
we think
you two ain't women. You knew I'd had a beer. Come on, no, we're not stupid.
To be fair, mate, I stood at the bar with you about 25 minutes ago.
yeah, but we're not stupid.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, but you know, none of us are stupid. You know, like, but yeah, it was when she was born. It was like the proudest moment of my life, especially with what happened with me and my mum.
Yeah,
I always said, you know, even if I'm not going to be the best dad. You know, even if I am going to be addicted to alcohol or whatever, I'm never going to let her down. I'm never going to. I'm going to try my best.
Always being alive.
You know, and sometimes my best ain't going to be good enough. You know, but all I can do is try. You know, and I'll never let her down. I'll never walk away. You know, and if one time she don't want to see me because I'm drinking, I'll keep trying and trying and trying, you know.
But that'll be her call, though.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I'll always try and try my best, you know, and I always try and be the best person I can be to, you know, I'll try not to fail her. I'll fail myself before her.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly that. And
I'll fail you before her, you know that, you know. But I don't get it right all the time, you know.
Yeah.
Who does? You know?
Well, I don't. I've heard Adrian's the perfect father.
No, if you ask my 2 eldest, mate, you know.
Yeah, you know, none of us get it right, bro.
No,
but all I can do is try, you know, and you know, I don't know what to say. I get all a little bit emotional. When
it's because it's your daughter and it's somebody that's really close to your heart.
But when it comes to me, I'll talk. You know. When it comes to that, I get a little
we can move swiftly on.
Let's swiftly
but
for that.
What I've just taken out of that is that you love your daughter with all your heart, and you know you'll always be in her life. So that's what we've taken.
My chair's rocking a little bit. I get a little bit. I get a little bit, man.
Do you know what? I reckon once she does see a couple of clips or sees the full interview, she'll be on the phone telling you that she's proud of you.
Yeah, no, we talk all the time now. We're going. It's her birthday in a couple of weeks, so we're going out next Sunday. I'm gonna spoil her with her birthday gifts and stuff, you know. So, but again, it doesn't mean I'm the perfect dad, you know.
No,
it doesn't mean.
And money doesn't buy affection.
Yeah, no, of course it doesn't. Time makes the best time. You know?
So, thank you for answering that as honest as you can, because obviously I know that we've both got children. We know how sensitive that
that's the one that gets
especially when the reason why you're here in this in the first place.
Of course.
It's not about being world's best dad, is it? It's about other things.
No.
But I appreciate it. So your dad passed away. You went to prison. You come out of prison. You hit the drink again. So this is just a recap.
Yeah.
And then, what's the last few years? So that was what? So you did
the last few years from there. I was sofa surfing.
That was 2015, wasn't it?
2015. So from 2015 to 2019, I was sofa surfing, here, there, and everywhere. 1 minute I'm doing a month sober. Next minute I'm drinking, pissing people off because this, that, and the other. And then a couple of my friends, it must have been 2019, said, stay on our sofa in January, save some money and get yourself a place together. We don't want no rent money, we'll feed you. And I've done that. I went on price work and scaffolding, and I got my deposit together, and I got myself a flat, and I'm still in the flat now, you know, 6 years later, you know. Still living there.
Being an independent man.
Yeah, and I don't mean that.
Them two friends.
Was the male friend of the two friends the same name as you?
Yes, he was. Yeah, he was.
Do you know what? When you mentioned that, I didn't know that story. But when you mentioned that, I pictured in my mind the two friends that could have been, and I've just hit the nail on the head. Did you want to mention them? No.
But I don't want to mention no names.
No, I know them, but
they've done me really good for that, and I'll always be ever grateful. And now I'm living in my flat. Still ain't got my shit together properly, I'm still up and down. But
how's
I'm trying,
relationships for you at the moment? Or
so
over the past, since,
single.
say, the
Do you know what?
birth of your little one?
Ever since I got my flat, I'm not interested in no relationships, man. I don't want no triggers. Because obviously the shit that happened years ago with my mum, and I've only ever had really 2 serious relationships. One I've got a child with, another lady, she might be watching, and I've got no bad animosity towards her, but it's not really ended well, and the triggers for me. And
when you say triggers, what triggers for drinking?
No, it's not that. If you if you argue, and then they don't want to talk to you because we're arguing, I feel rejected, and then I get upset and angry.
Abandonment again.
Yeah, and I get angry and upset. Then I drink more. Then I lash out, and then I end up like a dickhead. And then before you know it, we're arguing even more, and then they ignore you more, and then before you know it, it's just the continuous stuff going in your head from abandonment from a young age. So, for me, it's better that I stay single and just have my friends around me and just try and focus on my life and my daughter. As easy as it sounds, it's not,
No.
So,
no, but
because obviously sometimes I finish work and I want to go home and have a woman there, and I want to be happy and chilled and watch TV. But then if I do have that and it goes wrong, there's another trigger to go fucking that way instead of that way. So it's better to just stay like flatline, if that makes sense.
So what you've done there is you've realised that could, if you got into another relationship, that could potentially put you right back.
Yeah, it could
like further back than you are
100%,
now. So what you're doing there is you're protecting yourself, your guard's up.
Yeah.
And you're like, do you know what? I'm just going to go to work.
There's a bigger guard, man. It's like, I'm caged in, mate. As such, So
I do get that, because you've realised that it can.
Yeah, but
be bad
who's to say it might not happen? It could. But I don't look for it and I don't push for it. I'd rather just be in my own little bubble.
You've got a couple of hobbies as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I do a bit of MCing and stuff like that. I like writing poetry and.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us what poem now?
No, thank you. Don't
Gav
put me in a spot like that. Don't put me in a spot like that, you motherfucker. Right, we'll fall out.
If Ladybirds out there, it's got some good material. We'll get you
everyone's got a little bit of hobbies and stuff, I love my trainers. I love collecting trainers.
How many pairs you got? You could be in competition with this man.
I like that,
40 pairs.
When you say about, you remember when we said about addictive traits?
Yeah.
Mine's aftershave training. My lady, she's watching.
I've got no sense of smell anymore, man. So the years of abuse has done that, man. So there's no point in me collecting aftershave anymore.
I just wear other people.
Oh, your missus don't want to hear that. But trainers and music. I love music, man. Music keeps me sane. I'll go home. I won't watch TV. I can't. I'll just put music on and walk about, do the housework.
When you say you can't watch TV, is that because the mind then
starts?
No,
I can't sit still, man. I can't sit still.
That brings me to what you mentioned, that you've got all the traits of ADHD, but you've never been diagnosed. No. It's not too late to get diagnosed. You know that,
but years ago I went there because my boss that I used to work for used to say that I used to make all these noises and I couldn't sit still. And they diagnosed me with a minor form of Tourette's. But Tourette's, ADHD, OCD, they're all linked, aren't they?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I'm any of them. I'm just Gav. You know what I mean? I can't. Growing up, we never had that. He weren't no ADHD growing up. He was just a little bastard.
He was
a little shit. Or,
I was going to say
But you can't sit still. I'll get out. Stop disrupting the class. You know. Now it's ADHD, and everyone's got it, and so I don't really want to be classed as that. You know, I just want to be classed as Gav.
The reason why I said that is because a lot of people that I've known over the last 6-7 years have been diagnosed in their 30s, 40s, and you know, to go all through your life up until your 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
With ADHD, but undiagnosed, and like you said, everyone thinking you're just disrupting and you're just this and you're just that. But it's nice to be able to go, oh, hang on a minute, there's a reason why I was like that.
You know, sometimes, so when I go without drinking for a month, I'm hyperactive. I can't sit still. I walk in a pub, I'll drink lime and soda, and I'll be jabbing you in the stomach. It was like, what the fuck's wrong with you? When I have a drink, it calms me down. It's almost like a sedative for me. Yeah. Then I have one too many. Then I turn into that hyperactive dickhead again. You know. But it's kind of like it's like a relaxant for me.
And like you say, you're always trying to search for that little bit in the middle where you're just nice.
Yeah. You know, like we all like to go out and have 3 or 4 beers. Yeah, and feel normal and and that confidence is there. Oh, what? Everyone's on the dance floor. I've had 4 beers. I can get on there. Yeah.
Would you do it 3 beers?
Huh?
Would you do it 3 beers? Dance?
Probably about 8. Yeah, 3. Yeah, no way. But obviously, it gives you that confidence, you know. So it's just, yeah.
So would you say there's 2 sides of you? There's
Gavin, yeah.
There's Gavin.
Yeah,
So
you're talking to Gav, yeah. When you get Gavin, he's an arsehole, man. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
And I've always said it to people, you know. When I was in trouble with my mum, Gavin. Yeah, when I done good at school, Gav, you know. So I've always looked at it like that, you know.
I've seen both sides.
Yeah, I'm glad you have.
I used to run a pub, as you well know.
As you know,
and with my brother, and you was a local, a regular, and I have seen both sides,
100%.
Gav and Gavin.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I happen to think Gav's the nicer one.
Yeah, so do I. So do I. I think a lot of people out there.
And I'm glad he turned up and not Gavin.
Yeah.
But it's difficult, isn't it? That's the problem. And like you say, it's because you're always searching for Gav but end up
Gavin
drinking
pops
too
in.
much. Gav comes in.
Or you wake up and you think, how did I get home? Who have I upset? What have I done wrong?
Did Gavin turn up?
Or you go like that, I better check my bank balance. You're like, oh, okay, that's all right. Oh, fuck, I've done it again, and you know.
I bet when contactless payment come out, you were shitting a brick.
Oh, I still do.
Because at least when you're drunk, you forget your PIN number. But when it's contactless, you just go like that, don't you?
Yeah, when you tap the wrong card. Fuck.
Yeah.
That was a work one.
Yeah, definitely.
So what I wanted to ask is that what was you expecting from this podcast coming on here?
I'm hoping that people can relate. I'm hoping that maybe that people that have maybe had something going similar through their childhood and not knew what I'd gone through and I've been willing to talk about. I'm hoping it maybe helps them to realise that they're not on their own. Selfishly, I was hoping that it might help me get some shit off my chest.
Has it done that?
Yeah, I feel good, man. Yeah, I'm hoping it'll help grow your podcast. You know, like there's a whole number of things. You know, it's not just a selfish thing. The only thing I hope it hasn't done is embarrass my daughter. That's the only thing. That's the only thing.
Guarantee.
You know? Yeah, no. That's the one thing. Proud. You know, that's the one thing that I hope that hasn't. Apart from that, I hope it's been a positive thing for everyone. You know, that's the main.
I think
thing.
What do you think?
You say that we spoke a little bit before about what you just said there. You hope it was positive for other people. You did keep saying that you always put other people's first, other people first.
Yeah.
Even when Gavin's out, whatever all the bollocks that goes on, you always try and find yourself putting other people first. I feel that you need to, from my point of view, sitting with you, I think you need to start putting Gav a little bit first as well.
No, I appreciate it, man.
It's okay to do, you know.
Yeah, I know that. No, I know. I get
and
that.
And I know you're intelligent enough to understand that.
Yeah, no, I get that, man.
I just want you to know that it's okay to do that.
I know that as well, but I still don't want to do it. I still can't.
It's nice to hear it, especially live in front of people, to say, look, Brother, you can be selfish sometimes. You can say, you know what, I ain't doing a dumb run with you, bro. I've got my shit to do. You know, if you want to come help me, great, and then we'll go and do your bit.
But I'll never ask anyone to help me, man.
And I know, and that's what I'm saying.
I struggle
whatever
sometimes.
goes on, however we are, it's okay to ask for help.
I just don't like to put other people out. I feel like, you know, I do. Sometimes I do. You know, sometimes I do say I need help, or, you know, like I asked my pal to give me a lift down here today. You know, like please, and he was like, yeah, and that's me asking. But then I still feel like I'm a burden. You know, I still feel bad. You know, I feel like he should be running around after me. You know, I should have walked. You know, like that's how I feel. You know, I feel bad.
But
and he drove on for. He even thinks I've done a good thing. I'm glad I helped my pal. You know, I've done my good deed for the day. You know, but you know, it's like a catch-22, and it's like a roll on, isn't it?
And
like,
next time you do something for him, do you know what I mean? Even if you say to him, you know what, bro, come round, I'll put a curry on.
Yeah.
Come, let's go and have a curry.
We're going for a takeaway. I ain't cooking anymore, man. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
You know,
no, I get
and
it.
that's what I'm saying. Is
But it's just that, you know, I know I do things for other people, and I know they do things for me, but like that's just, you know, how I feel, and I feel like I'm a burden sometimes, you know, and feel bad. Especially when I'm putting that shit.
That's the same as you as an 8-year-old, though, isn't it? Same as you as 2, 3, 4, 5. You felt a burden, and you felt like you was a bit like that. Basically, 100%, and from what I understand from this podcast today is that's how you felt, and you still feel like that sometimes. You feel,
I do,
shit, I'm not asking for help because I'm bringing a burden onto people.
Because I'm going to upset someone.
But that's in your mind. That's not.
100%.
If you ask me to help you, I'm not going to say fucking hell, Gav. You're putting a burden on me.
I know.
No, but you will. It's a fuck's sake, Gav.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a pain in the arse. And that's okay, though. That's all right.
100%.
Because that's what favours are about sometimes. You're putting someone out. So they are going to go, you know what, fuck me,
Gav.
no,
but I get it.
I'll do that.
But I won't even ask, so they don't say that. And then the next day they go, why didn't you ask? I didn't want to put you out. They go, you're a prick, you should have asked.
Exactly.
It's just a fucking, you know, it's in here, innit? You know what it's like, man.
And 9 times out of 10, most people will go, no, I can't do it.
Yeah.
If they can't.
If
they can,
of course.
Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
It's not many people that will do something if they fucking don't like it.
Of course. I know, I get it. Yeah, I get it, man. It's just, I think it's that, you know, like the mental health, you know, when you play games with yourself, you know, and you start thinking...
Second guessing.
Yeah, and you go, I can't do that. It's like today, I was like, I can't do this podcast, man. I can't do this podcast.
To be fair, I was expecting... You've cancelled twice already.
Because I'm in Thailand, man. I'm in Thailand. The first time I went to Thailand.
I was expecting a third cancel.
And I was a little bit like apprehensive.
Just a minute ago, we was in the bar, and he was like, do you mind if I have a quick drink? And I was like, yeah, go on. So he's got his drink, and then he went, I need a toilet. So he's gone to the toilet.
He's going to do a run.
Right. Do you know how long he was? He was a good 10, 12 minutes. I was like, he's done a runner, you know.
I'll be honest with you, I had an anxiety period. I ain't going to lie to you. Yeah, I had to go because I was scared, man.
But I thought he'd done a runner, but he didn't.
Listen, there was half a beer on the pipe, man. I ain't going to run away.
I must have thought about that as well. He's left his beer.
See, that's you second questioning now.
But I really appreciate you coming on and discussing some topics.
Thank you for having me on, man.
Some wouldn't. Some men out there, some women out there wouldn't have the balls to come on here and discuss what you've discussed today.
Of course.
We do have a lot of people contact us. There's a lot of people that we're in contact with that aren't quite ready to come on the podcast yet. You know, they are reaching out to us, and thank you for that to all the people that are.
Listen, I'm hoping, come down, man. It's not as bad as you think, and, you know, it's all good, you know.
And it's all about, like I say, me and Shane started this for our selfish benefit.
I get that. I get that.
And the fact that we're now got like people like yourselves wanting to come on, putting yourselves in a position
100%,
of trust with us, effectively, is amazing.
Of course. I appreciate having me on, man. You know, like,
I've always said, if we can help someone wake up another day. Well,
you've done something right, you know? And if it helps you as well, you know, that's
even better.
In a selfish sort of way, you know, like you say, you know, like, you know, recovering alcohol addict and that, if it's helping you as well, you know, talk to someone else.
I actually I look forward to the next podcast that I do. I do start looking like I'm planning it like through a few days before.
Thanks, mate.
But I actually start looking
I can't
forward
wait for
to
someone else to come in here, mate. He's doing me nothing.
He's already thinking someone else. Right,
Let's get rid of that fat prick.
What I'm trying to say is I look forward to the next one, so I'm trying to get the next one in.
But is that, that's some of his anxieties as well.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
if you see him before you get in, when he's setting all this up, and that's his. I wouldn't say it's a mental illness. It's
a bit jittery and a little bit like, is it going to go right? And you know,
and he'll be texting me when we get back. He'll be showing snippets. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. I don't like that. And that's his anxiety.
Yeah, I get that.
He's always searching for that.
Yeah,
but it's also something that's really good about him.
Yeah,
because you know you're going to get the best.
Because he's looking for a bit of perfection.
Yeah,
he's looking for the right bit. And
the podcast is far from perfection, by the way.
No, not when I'm on it.
But no, we will get it there. But I want to end on this. But I want you to tell me, Unade, exactly what you think the future holds for you.
The future holds for me making sure my daughter's future is secure, and I want to find a balance in my life where I'm happy within myself and she's proud of me. And then I want to do a course where I can teach English abroad, and I want to move abroad, man. And I want to be happy.
He loved Thailand that much.
Yeah, it is, man.
Yeah. But you really, when you say that, Gav, do you mean it?
Oh, 100%.
Do you mean it?
I mean that
not
from my
your
heart.
daughter bit. That's
No.
I'm on about the
genuine.
bit after.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. I've already looked into it, but that's not stuff I should really be saying too much on live camera, because I've not even spoke to my daughter's mum about it. But that's my long-term future plan.
Everyone's allowed goals.
Yeah, but that's my plan. That's my plan, to make sure she's sorted, make sure she's in college okay, and her life's good, and then look into actually, going abroad.
You can be.
Yeah, that's my plan.
Well,
Of course, But that's my plan. That's genuinely 100%. That's my plan. Yeah. And if anyone knows me, when I say I'm going to do something, I'll do it, even though it's took me a little time to go and do this. I'm here. You know, when I say I'll go and do the ultra white collar boxing, I wouldn't have done it.
You did that once before, didn't you?
Yeah. I fought Danny Barker. Big up Danny Barker, man. Love you, bro. But I won.
He does the old shed plates.
Yeah. Dan will do it.
Dan will do it.
Yeah, but big up Danny.
If we give you a shout out, we're always looking for sponsors on here as well, you know?
Yeah, no, but big up Dan, man. We had a little scrap in the ring, and it was a good scrap, and we're still pals. And but everyone said
How much did you raise?
He raised more than me. He raised over $1,000. I think I raised about £600. Then I done the where I raised £445 for Sober October. Then Grace wanted to horse ride. My mate had some horses. I'm shit scared of horses. So I raised £500 for Macmillan Cancer as well for that, you know. So
you've raised a few quid for charity.
Yeah, I like to do my stuff for charity. As well, you know. So it was Garden House Hospice. Sorry for the riding of the horse.
Great charity.
Yeah, so I've done that as well. But I try my best, you know.
We're massive. We really believe in charity.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's what you need to do. Charity work and that. Yeah.
We feel that there's a lot of people. Again, that if you can't feed your children, that's going to suffer mental health. You know, if you've got children that are ill, or if you've got adults that are ill, whatever, or you can't afford to pay for your. I just don't think we should be in a world of anyone being. Look, maybe I'm being an idealist here, but I genuinely believe we shouldn't have people starving.
Hindsight's a wonderful thing.
I just believe that if we're going to go and spend £50 million on making Big Ben beautiful, don't tell me we can't feed people in the street.
The homeless.
That's why they won't have me in Parliament, bro.
I think you'd be a good PM.
Yeah, I reckon you'd be good, man.
They're looking people in the eye and saying we need 50 million for Big Ben. Okay, that's fine. We need 50 million to feed people. No, don't be stupid. Yeah. Come on, man. As a human race, where are we going here with this?
Yeah, what's going on? Yeah.
Where are we going?
No, I get it, man. I get it, and
that's my big bugbear, do you know what I mean? We can afford to go and send arms to fight a war, but we can't afford to
look after the ones that come back. And stuff like that. We're getting a little bit political. We're getting a bit political.
Podcast,
yeah.
maybe, do you know what I mean? But
any political people out there, get on case. Tommy Robinson, you ready?
Scrap that. But at the end of the day, thank you so much for coming on.
Listen, thank you for having me on, man. Yeah.
So we know about you, your last few years, and we know about your future goals.
Yeah, man, yeah.
Which Gav is going to do them things?
We're going to go to Thailand, baby.
Which one? Gav or Gavin?
Gav, fuck Gavin, man. I'm leaving him at home.
That's good to know. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
for coming on.
Thank you for listening, people.
We always finish with each podcast of you basically looking into the camera and telling people and giving them some sort of motivation, some sort of, your opinion on how someone could get through if they're struggling of mental health, and you're in it, so your words mean a lot. But we just want you to say
I'll say one thing,
This one.
This one. I'll say there's always goals, SMART. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timetable, Do that. Don't set your goals too high. Set them small and achieve them, and step by step you'll achieve the bigger goal. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much, Gavin. I've been Shane. He's been Adrian.
And
this
Gav.
gentleman's been Gav.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in and watching the Rise Above podcast. Make sure you tune in again next time. Keep an eye on all the social media. And a massive thank you to our podcast sponsor, FB Chain.
We're getting new equipment next week, isn't that right, bruv? He's going to
yeah. I got the week late, didn't I?
We'll come and talk again, bro.
Gav, thank you so much.
Take care, man. Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah,
Instagram, thank you very much. We'll see you next week. Sweet. Ooh, disco. No, I'll shut that in a minute.
You'll take this off now, yeah?
Film off.
Yeah.
Right, we got through it then.
That was probably the short.